Thank you so much for having me for today's talk. I am Michiko Saiki. I did my doctorate in contemporary music at State University in Ohio in the States. Today I'm going to be talking about my recent project, the Vocalizing Pianist, the Voices of Women. There are many ways to enrich our new music scenes. Recent years there have been many initiatives and organizations that try to combat gender imbalance in our concert culture. As a new music advocate myself, I have begun a project, the Vocalizing Pianist, the Voices of Women. This project not only promotes female composers, but also aims to question our aesthetic criteria, which has been long established under patriarchy, and aims to combat stereotypes and prejudice against women by providing a female-centric concert space. Through this project, I hope to build a body of repertoire and present concert programs that are by women, for women, and about women. I have been promoting and advocating this genre, the vocalizing pianist. This genre incorporates singing, speaking, and acting, as well as playing the piano. The voice reveals something more personal about the performer. It draws the audience's attention to the corporeality of the pianist, and it reveals him or her as a gendered being. All the signs that determine one's identity, such as gender, race, nationality, and age, etc., become more visible or easily recognizable. Because of the voice, the vocalizing pianist genre makes the performer's body and gender an integral element of the musical composition. Musicologist Susan Cusick points out that the intelligibility of gendered performance depends on a mutual understanding of gender. Unless your understanding of what a woman is the same as mine, I fail to challenge stereotypes. Instead, I might even perpetuate and reinforce stereotypes and normative conceptions that you already have. In other words, the cultural inscription that my body carries is always enacted by audience members. For example, I am here speaking to you, and I am not the one who portrays the stereotype of Asian woman, but you as audience members, consciously or unconsciously, bring your own understanding of gender, or what Asian or Japanese woman is like. These ideas are constructed from your individual experiences within a cultural context, which I cannot control. As a solution to the risk this genre entails, I turned myself to the concept literature feminine. This concept, the feminine writing in English, this concept was developed by French post-structural philosophers such as Hélène Cixous, Julia Kristeva, and Lucy Irigaray. They encouraged women to write their selves, meaning write something deeply rooted in female body and female sexuality. Explore and develop women's own language. Language has already preconditioned women to be in a secondary position, and then they believe that by writing something that subverts the system of representation, women can dismantle patriarchy. The more women explore their unique voice, the harder it is to be defined and standardized under patriarchal terms. Through the act of writing the self, women can retrieve her voice as the subject instead of being described only in a relation to men. With the concept of literature feminine, we can reevaluate the historical aesthetic and then value system and protect authenticity and originality of women's writing, which might have been dismissed when evaluated by historical aesthetic criteria. Following the concept of literature feminine, I worked with 4 young female composers in Leipzig, Germany, to create female-centric concert space where women can celebrate their own modes of expression outside of the value system which had been developed under patriarchy. By presenting all-women concert, I embody and transcend different women in my one body. This challenges the audience's preconceived notion of what my body or gender mean. And I thought I could also challenge the white centrism in our current aesthetic criteria because these 4 composers happen to grow up in completely different culture. They are from Turkey, China, Brazil, and Iran. I had a 2-hour lecture session with the composers at the beginning to discuss the genre, feminism, and literature feminine. As a result, they dealt with female sexuality from various angles in their compositions, but with totally different subject matters. I could also see differences in their understanding of feminism and female sexuality, which is also very fascinating. Now I briefly describe each piece. Vestel Shalevi's For Them, this is what I'm going to perform today, dealt with the issue of child brides. Vestel was passionate about raising awareness about this long-lasting unresolved problem. She researched about the stories of actual child brides and used the quotes as the text. Junyu Guo's Lead Danish Shatten's Song of Your Shadow portrayed the growth of a woman who lived in the shadow. Junyu wanted to depict a strong woman because she disliked the image of women as victims. In her piece, the main character leaves her comfortable zone and discovers beauty that existed already in herself. This piece uses 3 languages, English, German, and Japanese. Rafael Andrade's Pills commented on the use of birth control pill and criticized the capitalist industries that target women for men's pleasure. She did it in a sarcastic manner by using cartoons and found footages from YouTube in her video score. This uses Guarani, which is the indigenous language in Latin America. Then, lastly, the Fojan Gabinejad's X, in quotation, X, shared her thoughts on the restriction against women that she has experienced while growing up in Iran. In Iran, women are not allowed to sing solo in public. Therefore, there is very minimal vocalization in this composition. In the middle of the piece, the performer goes into the audience, looks for a black garbage bag, and wears it. She performs the rest of the piece with the bag on her head. The video portrays a woman who is searching for her sexual organ in vegetables and fruits. I performed these pieces as one big theater production without a pause. And I also worked with a Japanese theater director, Hiroko Iwai, for acting and staging. Between the pieces, I projected short video pieces that connected all these stories together. The concert was a huge success. The hall was completely packed, thankfully. After the concert, one young audience member from Indonesia told me that she felt very empowered, and she loved the fact at the curtain call, everyone on stage was women. And these 4 composers also told me that how proud they were to be part of this project, and it was refreshing to work as a group because they never worked together before. I think this project also changed these composers' relationships to their gender and provided an opportunity to reevaluate their positions as female composers in the 21st century. This is still an ongoing project, and I plan to continue working with more composers to expand the body of repertoire. Eventually, I hope this genre to become a platform where women can share their stories and celebrate their feminine writing, which will become a collective force to challenge gender stereotypes and historical aesthetic in music. Furthermore, this project offers a learning opportunity to the audience. When the audience can experience such female-centric space as sensorial, they can become more critical to their preconceived understanding of gender, ethnicity, nationality, age, class, and so on. Maybe, maybe not. So now you will hear one of the pieces that I commissioned for this project. So I will perform this Del Shelevis for them.
woke me up this morning. Come on. We are going to your husband's.
He said. It shall be.
What?
It shall be what Daddy says.
Please, no.
No right to decide.
Decide.
No right. We have no mouth to speak.
He is.
The story was paid. Sold off. The dowry was paid, marriage was arranged. Must feel lucky. Mom said the man is a good man and that I will not regret marrying the man. It's for the best as well as for my future, so that I should understand it. Lucky. She wouldn't want me to suffer. Happy. He is. He got what he wanted. That's all I am to them. My hands are broken. And my eyes bruised, suffering, whackings. No one helped me. Everyone remained silent. I could not eat. Sick, dizzy, pain. Beaten, could not. Dizzy, baby. My baby. Pain. Beaten by my husband. Dizzy. Baby. in my pain. Baby stopped moving. My why they silent. I alive. Death. For them, it's just a tradition. Maybe I can do questions and answers. Karen, thanks.
Well, thank you very, very much for this performance and all this energy. Just some questions about the project, really. Were you collaborating with the composers in the choice of subjects or texts, or it was their choice and they came to you with a ready piece and then you started working on the piece? Or you were involved in the process of composition in the...
So my main purpose was to like let them be themselves. So I didn't really want to control any sort of like compositional process, so to say. But when they had an idea, I made them talk to me what kind of subject matter they were thinking of. So like in the beginning, there was a conversation after the of course, like I did the lecture session, and then like a few months later, they started coming up some ideas. So this was like a year-long project, and I talked to them. So all the pieces are their ideas, and then also like to just deepen the conceptual part, I kind of taught them, well, audience can interpret this way, or what do you think about this one, so that we have no misunderstanding of the concept. So that kind of like conceptual wise, I really let them dig in. But then like the musical part, I didn't really have any sort of, I didn't touch.
And in this piece, the text was by the composer, or was it really...
So this text was made by the actual child bride, who there is a lot of like written text, especially there was a big research in Turkey where she's from, and then she said she took actual phrase from what the child bride was saying. But it was in Turkey originally, Turkish originally, and then she translated it into English.
There's another question for the ask and how do you feel, because it's probably the different subjects, even probably this subject, I mean, it's something that as an experience probably it's not, I mean, it's not in your culture, or it's very foreign to you. So how did you relate with that, or how do you feel? I mean, let's put it this way. Do you feel like an actor who's going to act a text and you're working like if you would work with a stage director, or I mean, what's your approach for something that is completely coming from another cultural world?
Yeah, that's that exact thing that you just said was something that I had to put a lot of thought in it, and something that I didn't want to come out to be fake. I didn't want to. I wanted to be genuine, and then I wanted to pay respect to those people who are suffering, because if I just act out, I think it can become fake. And that was the really difficult, I don't know, part that I had to really work with the theater director. And I have a performance artist background, so like I wanted to mix a bit of like nakedness or like a bit of like the truth in it. So, and also, and in the end, I know the fact I cannot be them. But then, by embodying those characters, I thought maybe you can relate to me. Maybe embodiment is a medium for empathy. So I kind of concluded this whole project. The short videos that I inserted kind of talks about, I cannot be you, but I can empathize with you. And I think that was like some sort of conclusion that I made from this first trial batch of composition project, that there's no way, how hard I try, I cannot live the lives of these people. And in so many of them that I performed are kind of, because those 4 pieces kind of have very dark themes to it. And I guess I had to kind of tell myself that, okay, I cannot be them. And the only thing I can do is to empathize with them. And I think that was the message that I probably had to go with.
So performance-wise, that means that, as you said, you don't act it out, but you find your own way to go through the texts without the acting somehow. I mean, it's something that you have to search.
I have
yourself.
to search, inside, deep inside.
Yes.
I mean, this piece especially, like I always cry every time I work on this or I practice at home. I get very emotional because I can understand how hard it is for a child to go through this.
So Michiko, we started talking about this in the emails when you proposed this. But in your introduction, you invited a female audience, which doesn't happen often, if I understood correctly, yes?
You mean like the 4 women?
Yes.
Actually, I should have probably it was, yeah, that's like my next step. I didn't do it
You haven't done
exclusive
it yet.
female, yeah, but I really want to try it.
But the audience that came in Leipzig, was that a group that would normally go to the concerts, or were there?
I was very surprised because this whole festival happened after the semester was over, and then nobody was really in town. But then the people who came, I don't know where they appeared, was like completely packed. But I mean, of course I promoted, but they did a mixture of people, like some young, some old, and I think mostly non-musicians. That was very interesting part. But I didn't get to like interact with every single one of them, so I'm not sure. But some musicians, but the gender was mixed. Yeah.
Any other questions? Well, thank you ever so much for this. Lorenda's into this, so go on.
Would you consider commission pieces from men composers about women's subjects?
So there is a section about literature feminine in my doctoral dissertation, and I actually cover 2 male composers. One is Fanny Ho, and the other one is Stuart Sanders Smith. And then I perform both of their speaking pianist pieces, and I think literature feminine can happen by male writers. Even Helen Sixu and Julia Kristeva also thinks both of them. Lucy Irigara had just a tiny bit different idea about that, but both of them has said that something that subverts, as long as that challenges this historical aesthetic or like a historical lineage of how the writing should be, then they can be literature feminine. And I agree with that. So I'm actually currently like I have a second batch of commissioning, and then that's actually a mixture of gender. Like I think one queer men and woman, and then one man so far. I have already started working on that. So, but again, I really like the idea of like female exclusivity as an experiment. And then sometimes like I would like to, I don't know, I wanted to see how it is. Something speaks to certain people, and I'm not trying to be essentialistic about it, but I think, I don't know, as an experiment and in a new way of like concertizing, new way of programming, I thought that would be a interesting thing to do. But yeah.
Well, thank you for bringing this great subject and your performance to all of us.